Imagine this scene, a late-night Fox News broadcast, the lights dimmed and the tension palpable. The conservative voice of Tucker Carlson, renowned for his fiery and often controversial remarks, is about to go head-to-head with one of the most prominent progressive voices in American politics today, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. In one corner, Tucker, the self-proclaimed defender of traditional American values, the one who's built his career around fiercely opposing what he views as radical left-wing policies. And in the other, AOC, the young, charismatic congresswoman from New York, who's quickly become the face of the progressive movement. She's pushing for policies that some call revolutionary, while others view as dangerous. The stakes couldn't be higher. As the conversation heats up, AOC delivers a statement that echoes across the nation. It's time for a tax system that truly serves the people. It's time to tax the wealthy more. It's time for universal health care. It's time for everyone to have a place to live. And it's time we end the crushing burden of education costs for the next generation. Tucker, ever the provocateur, leans in, his eyes locking onto the camera. His response comes swiftly, cutting through the air with a sharpness that only he can deliver. What Alexandria is proposing is nothing short of a socialist revolution, a direct attack on the principles that have made America the greatest country in the world. You want to take more money from hardworking Americans to fund a system that has already failed in other parts of the world? He pauses, allowing the words to sink in. The crowd goes silent. You can almost hear the collective intake of breath as the tension builds. The debate has just begun, but it's already clear that the clash between these two powerful figures is going to spark something much bigger than anyone could have predicted. But here's the thing. This isn't just about two people disagreeing on a few policies. This is a debate that hits at the very core of America's identity. The question of how we define fairness, justice, and the role of government in the lives of ordinary citizens. It's about whether we continue to live in a society where the rich get richer while the rest of the population struggles to get by. A society where the cost of healthcare is a burden, housing is out of reach for many, and education is a privilege reserved for the few who can afford it. And on the other side, it's about whether we move toward a future where the government steps in to level the playing field, to ensure that everyone has access to the basic rights that should be guaranteed in any democracy. A society where the wealthiest pay their fair share and no one is left behind simply because they were born into the wrong circumstances. Stay tuned as we dive deeper into this explosive conversation. If you're enjoying this content so far, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us keep bringing you the debates that matter. The tension continues to rise as AOC leans forward, her passion palpable. Let's talk about the rich for a moment, Tucker. The wealthiest individuals in this country, they're not paying their fair share in taxes. The top 1% hold more wealth than the bottom 90% combined. Is that the kind of America you want to live in? Her words hang in the air, challenging the status quo. Tucker, never one to back down from a fight, fires back with his characteristic smirk. What Alexandria is advocating for is a complete overhaul of the American dream. She wants to punish success, to penalize hard work. In America, if you work hard, you should be able to keep what you earn. That's the American way. AOC responds with a calm yet firm tone. It's not about punishing success, Tucker. It's about making sure that everyone has the opportunity to succeed. When the rich don't pay their fair share, it's the working class that foots the bill. We need a system where those who have the most contribute the most, because that's how we build a fair society. Tucker's expression changes for a moment, but then he quickly gathers his thoughts. I get it, Alexandria. But let's be real here. The more you tax the rich, the more you stifle innovation, entrepreneurship, and job creation. What you're proposing is the exact kind of thing that's ruined economies all over the world. Look at Venezuela, Cuba, or any other socialist experiment. High taxes don't lead to prosperity, they lead to disaster. This is where the debate gets particularly heated. It's not just about tax rates. It's about the values that underpin their respective arguments. AOC is advocating for a more equitable distribution of resources, while Tucker is defending a capitalist system that rewards individual achievement. But AOC isn't backing down. We're not talking about socialism here, Tucker. We're talking about a system where people aren't forced to choose between putting food on the table or paying for healthcare, where families don't go bankrupt because they can't afford their child's education. And yes, that means asking the wealthiest to pay a little bit more. Why is that so controversial? The question lingers in the air. Why is it controversial to ask the richest Americans to contribute more? Is it because we've been conditioned to believe that wealth should be protected at all costs? Or is it because the idea of taxing the rich threatens an entire way of life? A way of life that has, for many, become synonymous with the American identity. At this point, the conversation has moved beyond the mechanics of taxation. It's about whether or not we're willing to redefine what success looks like in America. Is success only about accumulating wealth, or is it also about lifting others up, ensuring that everyone has access to the resources they need to thrive? If you're finding yourself questioning these ideas, you're not alone. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe the rich should pay more in taxes, or should we protect the system as it is? As the debate shifts from taxes to healthcare, the stakes couldn't be higher. AOC leans forward, her voice unwavering. Tucker, this isn't just about money. This is about people's lives. Healthcare is a human right. No one should have to choose between life-saving treatment and financial ruin. It's time for universal healthcare for every American, no matter their income. Tucker responds almost immediately, his tone sharp and skeptical. And there it is, the dream of universal healthcare. It sounds nice, Alexandria, but let's be honest. Every time the government gets involved in something like healthcare, it's a disaster. Long wait times, lower quality care, and more taxes for everyone. You're pushing us down a dangerous path. In AOC's eyes narrow, but she's prepared for this. Let's be clear here. Right now, millions of Americans don't have access to basic healthcare because they can't afford it. People die because they cannot get the treatment they need. The system we have right now isn't working. Tucker, it's broken. Tucker smirks, taking a deep breath. I hear you, Alexandria. But your solution isn't the answer. The government doesn't fix problems. It creates more. Look at the VA system. Look at Medicare and Medicaid. Those systems are riddled with inefficiency and waste. What you're proposing is the same thing on a larger scale, and it will bankrupt this country. The argument intensifies. On one side, you have a vision for a healthcare system that treats everyone equally, regardless of income or status. On the other, you have the belief that the private sector is the best solution, that competition drives quality and innovation. But AOC isn't backing down. The reality is that other countries with universal healthcare are doing just fine. They're spending less on healthcare per capita and getting better outcomes. It's time we stop letting the insurance companies and pharmaceutical giants dictate our healthcare system. It's time for a change. Tucker shakes his head, visibly frustrated. You can look at other countries all you want, Alexandria, but you're forgetting one important thing. Those countries have different economies, different cultures, and different values. What works for them won't work for us. We can't just import a healthcare system that's foreign to the American way of life. But AOC's response is calm and calculated. What's foreign to us is the idea that healthcare is a privilege for the rich. That's not what America is supposed to be about. We're supposed to be about equality, opportunity, and fairness. Healthcare should be a part of that. For a moment, there's silence. It's clear that both sides feel strongly about this issue, and no one is about to back down. The question, however, remains, is healthcare a right or a privilege? It's not just a question of policy, it's a question of values. Do we live in a society where we take care of each other, or do we live in a society where only those who can afford it get the care they need? If you've ever had to choose between paying for medicine or paying for food, you know exactly what we're talking about here. Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. What do you believe is the best path forward for healthcare in America? As the debate heats up, the conversation shifts once more, this time turning toward housing and education, two issues that are at the heart of the American dream. AOC takes a deep breath before speaking, knowing full well that these topics are just as divisive as the others. Tucker, This isn't just about taxes or healthcare. This is about ensuring that everyone has the chance to live with dignity. That means having a roof over your head, and that means access to education without the crushing burden of debt. Tucker, looking increasingly frustrated, responds quickly. Now you're talking about even more government intervention. Are you really suggesting that the government should provide everyone with housing? Should we just hand out free houses to anyone who wants one? His voice drips with skepticism. AOC's eyes light up with conviction. It's not about handing out free houses, Tucker. It's about making housing a right, not a privilege. We have millions of people in this country struggling to pay rent or facing eviction, and you're telling me that this is the best we can do? We can't afford to ignore these problems any longer. Tucker's response is sharp. It's called capitalism, Alexandria. If you can't afford to live somewhere, you move somewhere you can afford. That's how the market works. Government intervention only distorts that system and creates dependency. AOC, unflinching, replies. You're missing the point, Tucker. When people are forced to choose between paying for rent or paying for food, that's not freedom. That's oppression. We need policies that ensure housing is affordable and that no one is left without a place to live. The discussion now enters even deeper territory. Education. AOC continues, her passion unwavering. In education, Tucker, the cost of education is out of control. We've saddled an entire generation with student loan debt, and we're telling them that in order to have a good life, they have to go into debt for the next 20 or 30 years. That's not the American dream. That's a nightmare, Tucker Baum, trying to hold his ground, retorts. You want to make college free for everyone, Alexandria? And how do you plan to pay for that? By taxing the rich even more? Do you think that's going to fix the problem? All you're doing is creating more government dependency and raising taxes on hardworking Americans. AOC doesn't flinch. It's not about free college, Tucker. It's about making education accessible to everyone, regardless of their background or income. We need to eliminate student debt and make education affordable. It's not a luxury. It's a right. The question of whether housing and education are basic rights or privileges reserved for those who can afford them echoes in the minds of every listener. On one side, there's the argument that these issues should be handled by the free market, that government interference only makes things worse. On the other side, there's the belief that a true democracy should provide basic needs like housing and education to everyone, regardless of their ability to pay. The tension is palpable and the stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just about policy, it's about values. It's about what kind of society we want to live in. Do we want a society where the few control everything, or one where we work together to lift each other up and ensure that no one is left behind? What do you think? Should housing and education be seen as basic human rights, or are they privileges that only those who can afford them should enjoy? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this debate, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content like this.